there's a big concern for meteorites. So folks ought to get ready for that too, because we're forget about meteor showers. We're going to have a meteor storm, right?
Yep.
And when we have fires this winter, that's they're going to run out of excuses saying we don't know what happened here. This was some hikers and this, that, and the other. Speaking of volcanism, where you're talking about volcanism,
Yeah.
My prayers now more than ever, they've always been towards Italy, that somebody warn those folks, but they're just not doing it, Pastor Paul. So let me go ahead and say it tonight. The volcanic activity in that area, right?
Yep.
Is going to cause something that most people look for in another place. You're talking about a volcanic landslide. What do you think would happen if a big chunk of that landmass near Italy fell into that water? What do you think would happen?
Would create a massive tsunami.
There you go. So they might want to get ready for that also, because the activity of magma is incredibly high. The same thing is happening in Northern California, Washington State, and all those places. You have magma that's just shooting off the charts as far as temperature-wise, right underneath them. That entire ancient chain of volcanoes is lighting up left and right.
What?
And so they're going to have an issue too.
Nobody knows about that, Mike. Nobody's saying.
Well, they might want to start tracking that one, because they're going to have problems with that too, Pastor Paul. We're going to get into the time where some of these volcanoes sitting next to the water start ejecting large portions of themselves down into the water. You're looking at sheer breakoffs from that pressure, that magma. Everybody should understand that the magma is not stopping. Whatever the influence is externally, and I'm saying this so people don't get confused, whatever this influence is, right, is going to continue. Remember when I said our sun is going to be out of season? You remember that?
Yeah.
Because everybody said, oh, yeah, it's going to be calm. And I said, no, it was not going to be calm. And then we have all this stuff happening to the sun. But why? I know a lot of people, they can discern things and pick up on things, but I'm going to help them out just a little bit. What's been happening to the sun will likely alter because of celestial changes. The sun is going to be directly affected. We're going to be directly affected. So don't be surprised at a massive color change in the sun.
Okay, but what's going to cause this to affect? Who's affecting the sun?
It's being overwhelmed. It's being overwhelmed. Externally.
Not internally. Externally.
Not internally. Externally. We have external radiation, particles, waves, and everything else pulsing into us. It's changing our sun. It's affecting us, right?
Yeah.
We have a problem right now with our magnetosphere that we have a buffer outside the magnetosphere, right? It's full of vortices. They're disappearing, right? They've been there for a long time. They normally do not publish this, but they're going to have to cover themselves somehow. They're going to have to come out with some report saying, ooh, a scientist just found so-and-so, when they didn't. But they know that buffer is just dissolving. They know it's dissolving, meaning the Earth is becoming overwhelmed. The gamma radiation the Earth is emitting is also increasing. And folks, I'll say it again, when you start to see auroras where you should not, that means the atmosphere is just totally active. And it'll be pretty for most people, but it'll be a deadly sign of what's to come. That means an incursion is on the way. That means our atmosphere is going to be completely disturbed, right? And folks ought to get used to ash. They ought to have stuff in their homes to deal with ash. They ought to learn about ash and what it can do to plant life in themselves if they breathe it. They better get ready to deal with high winds and cinders, because people are not calming down in the world. People, the spirit is changing in people in this world.
Whoa. Is this where you told me 8 years ago, Paul, Pastor, you might want to understand that the
Yes,
world's
sir.
going to have to wear masks, not the little mask we're wearing right now. Those kind of masks,
Lots of cinders.
Cinders?
Lots of cinders.
Is that meteor cinders, or is it?
That'll mostly be from the onset from volcanism. That'll be from volcanism.
Volcanoes
causing
this?
There is no safe place. Volcano smoke is heavy. That's heavy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has seen the ejections overseas and how high it goes. There's something called a black volcano, right? We only have several on the Earth, black volcanoes. What they eject fast fall so incredibly thick because of the composition that it hovers no more than about 20 feet above the ground. And when it starts flowing, because it's incredibly heavy, it by itself will, it's like a tsunami in the air, right? That's what it's like, tsunami in the air. And it will carry hot materials because those clouds can be, 2 to 300 degrees, sustained heat. They're very heavy. It's hard to breathe in that atmosphere. And you better believe we're going to have these, they're called black volcanoes, going off. Now, I know that people probably have not heard of that. They probably haven't heard of it.
Is the oxygen
we're gonna
level,
experience.
is the oxygen, the oxygen
O2 level?
Yeah, is it going
Will
to
it go down?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, with the volcanoes we have now, we're having a problem with the atmosphere already. The air quality in a lot of places has dropped severely because of the ash. But something else is happening too. Radon poisoning is a real issue right now in the U.S. Right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
And it's rising because we have a higher evaporation point in certain items in the earth. This water is flowing, carrying radioactive materials in that water, not enough to fry you, but the levels are becoming about 2 times higher than what they should be. And radon is directly related to lung cancer. It will destroy your lung. It'll make you sick as a dog. You'll walk around and you can't breathe and everything else. So,
what about the red
it's becoming
dust?
a real problem.
What about the red dust? Is that going to get worse?
Well, that's inescapable. That's when people start saying that, they will. The red dust will be a slow buildup, right? You'll notice it on your windows as you're cleaning your windows. You'll notice it. We're not talking about Sahara dust either. We're talking about red dust.
You're right.
It just so happens that when this stuff comes in, though, your taste buds are going to continue to change. People are going to start noticing their taste. They should already notice this, that their taste buds are being altered. Foods taste a bit different as our atmosphere changes. But it'll just be different. To some people, it may be bad, but it'll be different. Food will taste different. And this will happen more and more as we continue to go along.